And so we're talking about the state of the nation this morning, and as Aya has said, we're looking at the critical juncture where everybody's looking at how 2026 is a year where we consolidate on and all the economic gains that we've been looking for over the years. Let me start with you, Mr. Dati. What are your thoughts on, in the last couple of months, the security situation and all other things that have been going on?
Yes, thank you very much. The security situation has been on a downward spiral for the past 2 decades or so, substituting several administrations. But it is good to note that this administration has been able to confront the Hydra-headed issue frontally by ensuring that for the first time we have a coordinated security architecture that operates in unison, unlike in the past where the different arms, the police, the army, the navy, the air force were operating unilaterally. And that has been able to help to assist in the success in the war so far. I must also say that in Plateau State, which has been on the news just a few days ago on the issues of security challenges, we are happy, I'm speaking from just Plateau State, and we are happy that President Ahmed Bola Tinubu came to Jos to sympathize with the victims and to assure the citizens and also mobilize the security agencies to be able to take over and collaborate with what Governor Mutfwang of Plateau State is doing. And we are happy that he has approved about 5,000 CCTV camera to be put across the states, including just the Plateau State capital. Similar thing has been done in Lagos, I believe, and also one state in the east. So I believe matching the words with action will help to ameliorate the problem and show leadership as not only being talking back, but responsive. And I believe gradually the foreign direct investment, which we yearn for, will continue to flow into the country, especially with the reforms being put into by President Bola Tinubu in the area of reducing reforms in the economy, where businesses and entrepreneurs have more confidence in the system.
What's the temperature like, particularly looking at it from the people's perspective?
What I can say for sure is that following the outbreak about 3 days ago, of course, there was a curfew, which was a preemptive measure being imposed in the state by Governor Mutfwang, who also immediately went to the site of where this attack took place at Anwalukuba. And his presence went a long way in assuaging the fears and concern of people. That quickly was followed by the visit of Mr. President, which was preluded by a visit of the Army Chief and other security agencies who put their boots on ground. And that has restored a lot of confidence in the people. And as I speak here from Little Rainfield in just Plateau State, a lot of economic activities are picking up, and the security agencies are all everywhere assuring people that they are here to stay and ensure that whatever things that happen. Right now, what we're having is a bit of criminal upsurge of criminal activities, and those who want to take advantage of the situation to loot, and that has also been brought a nip in the bud by the security agencies. So gradually, Plateau is back to normalcy, and activities are going on. Like I said, I'm speaking from Jos. It shows outside of my house where you can hear a lot of activities that's going on.
Just 24 hours after the president visited Jos and held a stakeholders meeting, another attack took place, I think, in Riom and one other community. I mean, what kind of message is that sending? Does that also bring about, more fear to the people of Plateau State that, regardless of the fact that the president himself came and there was a huge stakeholders, powerful stakeholders meeting, an attack still held shortly after the president left?
What is happening is the president elicited commitment from the key stakeholders who were there. We had about 3 former governors, all the and former National Assembly members, former sergeants, security chiefs, all gave assurances. And we hope and see that in the next few days, this commitment will trickle down to the grassroots. And I believe that is why there are several attacks. The few attacks that are coming up are also being kept in the fold. We also heard of several arrests that were done yesterday in the jails of the Plateau State, and several extermination of some of these miscreants who came to disturb the peace of the state. But there and then, we also believe that gradually things will come back to normalcy. Don't also forget that, like mentioned by one of the speakers, Right Honorable Ahmed Idris was the former Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, we are approaching the rainy season, and that in itself creates another concern, because the issues of interrelationship between the herders and the farmers also come up, which will also create this new set of problems. But the fact remains, and everybody knows, that Plateau was and has been under attack. But with the unity of purpose by leadership across all stands, we believe that this will bring an end to the scourge that has been bedeviling the state for the past 2 decades.
Mr. Dati,
yes.
Your thoughts on this, especially this crucial question on why it seems to be that the northern region that's bearing the brunt of this insecurity, and the comments by Mr. Adere on this as well.
But what is important is to begin to encourage and push leadership to begin to bring out solutions that will lead the issues at the board. And that is why the issues of bringing in cameras is very, very important and commendable. The issues of getting the terror financing, the roots of it. Who are these terrorist financiers, for instance? What has been done to them? Has there been any arrests in the past? What should government be doing? Government should wake up and begin to look at such issues, because the issues of the challenges we face in the community will continue to be with us as we begin to find solutions to them. But the immediate solution that is begging for answer, where lives are involved, is the banditry and the attacks on the lives of people. And that is why government must be able to bring people to book. There must be arrests. There must be strategic steps like tracing who are the people fueling these terrorists. Because these guns cannot be picked on the roadside. The feeding of the terrorists in the forest, how do they feed? How do they get fuel to be able to fuel 100 bikes that move at the same time? Where do they get this? So the issue of terrorism financing is very, very key. And I believe it's an area where it will help to bring to an end these attacks that is trying to cripple the nation.
If these communities are mute and they're not contributing to intelligence gathering, then how do we solve this problem from the smaller unit of, overcoming the challenges before we get to the larger part of, ending these issues altogether?
Well, I can tell you for free and for a fact that the communities, especially in Plateau State, have been aiding and giving appropriate information, real time, to the security agencies. And these have helped to even stop quite a number of attacks that were impending in most of these communities. What is lacking is the distance between the, harvesting this security intelligence information and acting fast to be able to avert those attacks that are taking place. And that is where I think we need to do more hard work. The security agencies have been a lot, and they have sacrificed a lot. I recall that in the past 1 week or 2 weeks, about a contingent of army personnel, including 3 senior officers, were ambushed on the road and killed by this insurgent. So the security agencies are also victims in this, and that is why there is a need, like the governor said, for collaboration across board. The security agencies, the community leaders, the traditional rulers, leaders of thought, to be able to come together and be able to ensure that we exterminate this malice that is growing, this headed attack that is threatening the unity of this country. And most times, unlike what you hear from outside, both Christians and Muslims are victims in this attack. But they try to push the narrative to begin to create a division and suspicion among the citizens. But we must come together as a country to ensure that these are criminals. These are bandits. These are people that do not mean the country any good. And that is why there must be unity of purpose in ensuring that the communities continue to give vital intelligence to the security agencies, and then the security agencies to also be able to act on time, real time, to be able to nip this in the bud. We are happy that so far the security agencies who have also paid the supreme price are also not aligned to this attack. They have now become also victims, and that in itself has made them to be more spirited in their attacks and in their responses. And we believe that as we continue, we'll be able, but most stakeholders and most people believe that by the time you check at the source of the financing, because for instance, you kidnap people, you collect millions of naira, where there's no market in the forest or in the bush. So where do you spend that money? Where do you get those arms? Where do you get those fuel to give the bandits who live in the forest to be able to come in and attack? How do they even get training on how to use sophisticated weapons? Well, the fact remains, and we must point the fact that as the elections approach, there are people who with tendencies who are caught up with the reality that they are going to lose elections, who are also planning these ambers across. And that is why government must also look inward into the actions, utterances, and fueling of these political actors who continue to fuel and create unease across the place. So that also is very, very important. You recall that the similar situation happened during the Jonathan era, where there was an upsurge of terrorism across the country, which ended up costing Jonathan the ticket for that year. And to some of us, to some analysts, we are beginning to see a new trend in that direction, where political jobbers are trying to use and promote insecurity. So the security agencies, apart from looking at the terrorists and the bandits and the attackers, must also begin to look at politically exposed people who have influence, especially now where even the religious leaders are coming into the fray of politics. So utterances who make utterances that create more tension should be invited to explain. And those are the other issues that will also help to address this issue, because there are people that are continuously fanning the embers of disunity, of destruction, empowering these bandits, and also sharing their victories even on the social media. That in itself is an area that we need to pay closer attention in order to lead peace in the bush. But by and large, we are happy in Plateau by the steps taken by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in matching action with words, by coming to ameliorate with the people, by taking actions that will create real-time images through the CCTV cameras, where evidences will be created and where it is easy for the security agencies to pursue. And on the last note, we want to also sympathize with the military and the security agencies who have lost lives in these attacks that have been ongoing. And we wish Nigeria success and that will overcome this challenge in our history.
I must thank Yakubu Dati, Chairman of the Governing Council of the Federal Polytechnic Ayede, your state. Thank you so much for coming on.